Hello once again, and welcome to the EC Fan-Addict vault of all things EC. I'm going to do a little follow-up video to my Russ Cochran video because I had a couple people question a couple of things. So this will be a short one just to tie up some loose ends in the Russ Cochran video I did a while back. So the first question I got was, what is the book all the way over to the right? Which I didn't talk about. So what this is a limited signed numbered edition of the EC archives. And there were 4 of these. The only ones Russ did were Weird Science Volume 1 and 2 and Shock Suspense Stories Volume 1 and 2. Weird Science and Shock Suspense Stories Volume 1 were both signed by Al Feldstein. Weird Science Volume 2 was signed by Al Williamson, and Shock Suspense Stories Volume 2 was signed by Jack Kamen. Now, the reason that I got the Jack Kamen autograph, I don't have all of them, I confess. I don't have everything that was ever made for EC, but I've got this one because I did not have Jack Kamen's autograph at the time. And I was also annoyed because of all the living EC artists in the year 2000 that signed Tales of Terror, the signed edition, Jack Kamen did not sign this, which is a whole other story. So I did get the Shock Suspense Stories Volume 2, and I'll show it to you because these are kind of special, and I'm a little ashamed of myself for not including it in my first Russ Cochran video. First thing it comes with is a pair of gloves. Russ was big on film editor's gloves. He included them with all the original Gaines file copies that were sold directly through him. And Russ personally scolded me one time for not wearing film editor's gloves when I was handling hand-colored EC silver prints. So I'm going to wear these in Russ's memory right now as I show you this edition of Shock Suspense Stories Volume 2. So what Russ wanted to do was do a really heirloom quality, kind of a book for the ages. Those are real leather covers, and every page has gold leaf edging, and that's real gold leaf. And this white leather is real leather. So these are absolutely beautiful volumes. It's a shame he didn't do more than 4, but the ones that we have are kind of just nice from a collectible standpoint. And also, I'll show you right here, there's a tipped-in page in each of them with a number and an autograph. And the one that I've got, the gloves make it kind of hard to open. So let's see if I can get to that page for crying out loud. Here it is. So there's a tipped-in page in each of these, signed by an EC artist. And as you can see, my copy is a publisher's proof, and it's number 15, signed by Jack Kamen. Now, since getting this book, I have gotten quite a few Jack Kamen autographs, but the reason I bought this originally was to have his signature. And again, I'm glad I have it. It's just a very impressively presented volume. Gold leaf, leather covers, and it comes in its own presentation box, which is what makes it the same size as the rest of the Russ Cochran EC library volumes. So there you go. For the people who ask me, what the heck is that other book at the end of the shelf? This is exactly what it is. And these are worth seeking out. They actually have not gone up in price too much on the collector's market. I think Russ originally sold them at about $1.50 each, and you can get them for around that now if you search for them. Another viewer asked why I hadn't shown any of Russ Cochran's auction catalogs, and I don't have a good answer for that either. There are tons and tons of auction catalogs that he put out. A lot of them had EC art on the covers. These two are special because they have original oil paintings done by Ghastly Graham Ingalls shortly before his death. So it's pretty legendary that Russ Cochran was actually able to get Ghastly Graham Ingalls out of Old Witch retirement, and he did some beautiful paintings of the Old Witch. These two auction catalogs feature a couple of those. Lastly, I'll just show you some Cochran ephemera that I've got. This was actually the very first thing I ever ordered from Russ Cochran. It's his 1983 catalog. And it was kind of a wish list extravaganza for a 12-year-old. And it came with some samples of some of the things he offered, such as the Frazetta Golden Girl print. And it came with a sample page from the EC library sets, which I didn't like at the time because they were black and white. And I thought, why would I want those? Little did I know that someday I would be having all of them and treasuring them. Came with a sample cover print. This catalog happens to have Tales from the Crypt 33, which is a pretty cool one to have. And so there you have his 1983 catalog. Came with the order form here and a letter from Russ. Lots and lots and lots of form letters from Russ sent out over the years. I've got friends who have Cochran files where they've saved everything they got from Russ, which is kind of a great idea because it's really nice to have a record of that. So some of the other sample things he sent out, this is another example of a Frazetta print, or that might have been some original art he was selling at the time. Here's a cover proof for one of his EC Classics magazine-size EC reprints. A flyer for the complete EC library, which you see behind me here. Here's a sample certificate of authenticity for the Gaines file copies that were sold through Russ. And then here's a flyer advertising the 12 EC Classics, the magazine-size reprints. Last but certainly not least, because I am a fan of Esoterica and Ephemera, these are examples of Russ Cochran mailing envelopes through the years. A lot of them had cool art on them. A lot of them had, oh, this one has something inside. What is in this one? What's in here? So this would be, another flyer for the EC library and EC Comics back issues. That must have been after the single issue reprints came out. It is. And then there's one that actually had a set of silver prints from Haunt of Fear 25 in it, and I guess he didn't have the old original EC Comics or chemical engraving envelope, and so that one came to me in an old Russ Cochran envelope. There's another example of one of his envelopes. And last but not least, this is the envelope that would have contained EC Portfolio 1, the first EC portfolio Russ put out, and this is when he was still in Adel, Iowa, before he moved back to West Plains and basically restored the whole downtown area of West Plains, Missouri. So there's some more Russ Cochran stuff. You folks that told me what I forgot to feature in the last one, go ahead and tell me what I forgot to talk about in this one, or if there's anything else you want to see. I probably have it, and I'll just have to dig it out. Cheers, thank you, peace.